In the era 1750 to 1900, faster transportation, an increased need for labor in the global economy, and violent unrest in many parts of the world led to a period of one of the largest human migrations in world history. As the Industrial Revolution spread, more and more people took engine-powered ships and trains to new destinations. And these migrations occurred within Afro-Eurasia and within the Americas, but it was the migrations to North and South America from Afro-Eurasia that historians focus on in this era. Migrations have two overarching causes: push factors that make people want to leave their home, and pull factors that draw them to a different location. And so, as you can see in this map from the United States in 1860, the bluer the state is, the higher population of foreign-born people living there. So you can see that the United States was highly comprised of immigrants, even in 1860. The United States truly is a melting pot. So let's talk about some push factors. Population pressures is the first one we're going to discuss. The Industrial Revolution brought new technology, new kinds of fertilizers to farms, which translated into more food and new medicines. These factors increased and continue to increase populations and allow longer lifespans. Industrialization contributed to patterns of migration in lots of ways. Substantial numbers of people, especially young adults, migrated from the country to the city in search of employment and factories, which upset the makeup of the traditional Western family. Another pattern of migration involved the movement of the middle class away from the central city to the suburbs. After 1850, urbanization continued in the West. In Great Britain and other Western countries, the majority of the population resided in cities. Accompanying a drop in death rates was lowering of birth rates. Families no longer felt as great of a need to produce large families to serve as laborers on family farms. And contributing to falling death rates were more hygienic practices during childbirth following Louis Pasteur's discovery of the germ theory in the 1880s. Sudden population growth was one of the many problems encountered by industrialized urban areas in the West and in Japan. Water supplies were contaminated by human sewage and industrial waste. The dark skies resulting from coal-produced smoke hovering over industrial cities contributed to frequent cases of rickets, which is a disease of the bones caused by underexposure to sunlight. I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to this slide. India, China, and Japan were demographic centers of this push factor. And people with the ability to do so often left these regions for less populated ones. Population growth was not just restricted to the Western world. In the 19th century, the population of Latin America doubled. The cultivation of sweet potatoes in China increased population to levels that stressed the country's economy and resources, demonstrating a need for improvement in agricultural methods and technology in China. Also in the 19th century, Japan experienced a population explosion because of improvements in nutrition and medical care, and they too felt the strain in natural resources caused by its growing population. The increased consumption of the potato in the 19th century also produced significant population increases in Russia. Reliable steamship transportation across the oceans was cheap enough for all but the poorest, provided that they could get to a coastal city that had oceanic service. And this is where a lot of people would actually sell themselves into indentured servitude. Famine, along with the Irish potato famine of the mid-19th century, other famines occurred in this area in East and South Asia, and that pushed people away from this area. Lack of employment, often tied to overpopulation, influenced many people to seek jobs elsewhere, particularly in young adults.